Like, share, and subscribe to my channel as I continue to provide with trusted information for you to use to make decisions. A number of persons are listening to information that I am given. Why not assist my channel to a far reach by spreading this information with another person or others and giving me a thumbs up, comment, and share. So today I want to educate persons on murder and politics in Jamaica. And I'm doing it from an empirical teaching perspective. So I'm going to take you along with me because I want to educate you. Remember, a critical part of my channel is to provide with trusted information for you to use to make decisions. Now, Jamaica got independence in 1962, and there's no doubt about having a young democracy that you're going to be going through teething pains, challenges, trying to understand issues. And in Jamaica, one of the reasons why we have somewhat of a staple in terms of the PNP and the JLP and no other party is able to break power is because of how both the People's National Party and the Jamaica Labour Party blossomed from as early as 1943. And what really happens in terms of the leadership between these two parties, where it was a break between two cousins, Norman Washington Manley and Sir Alexander Bustamante, and how the politics came up and how these gentlemen became leaders, became premier. And that could be read. You can actually go and read that information whenever you so desire. So, as I said before, I'm presenting you information for you to use to make a decision from this time from an empirical perspective. So I'm taking the information from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, the JCF, and the Planning Institute of Jamaica, because I'm using secondary data to establish what it is that I want to do today. No data relating to Paul Andrew Bourne. So this is data from the government. So let's get into some findings as to what is already going on in this country of ours. Now, ladies and gentlemen, murders during the 1970s averaged 266. In the 1980s, murders increased on average to 492. In the 1990s, 761. And in 2000s, murder jumped up to 1343. These are talking about murders. Now, we want you to understand clearly that during the PNP's reign between 1970 and 2009, the average number of murders was 762, whereas the average numbers of murders during the JLP tenure in that time space was 361. So you want to understand clearly what is going on. I'm providing you with empirical information for you to make decision. No, please, no. I'm not discussing politics. I'm discussing murders within the context of the governance of Jamaica based on two political parties. So let's look at colors. So what we are saying technically now is looking at colors, where we know that the PNP is represented by orange and the Jamaica Labour Party by green. So what you're seeing here is that the number of murders committed during the PNP governance of Jamaica is higher on average than during the JLP's time. But not only that, the spread in terms of murders is smaller or narrow in compared to when the People's National Party in power. Again, these are statistics, not Paul Board. I'm using statistics from 1970 to 2009. Now, when we look now at this graph now from 1970 to 2010, and look carefully at the trajectory of murders from the 1970, and look how things have been increasing in Jamaica up to 2010. This is this blessed country of Jamaica that got independence in 1963, August 1. So let's look at murders. As we said, if we were to use a line, a straight line, not really a straight line, but a sequence line, you realize what is happening to murder, which means that we can create a model, therefore, for murder in Jamaica. And as a person who's trying to present you with information, let me show what that looks like now. So let's look at murders during decades. Look carefully at the murders during the 1970s, 1960s, 1990, and in 2000. You realize that the murder situation in Jamaica is not a straight line, but has been increasing via more than a straight line. And as a math person, we're not going to get into the semantics of what is going on, but this is more like an exponential function where murders in terms of decade has been increasing faster than, let's not get into the math, but for you to sort of understand the general thing. We spoke to you earlier about what happens during the JLP time and during the PMP time in terms of governance. And we said we saw an average number of 631 murders during the JLP governance of Jamaica and 760 during the PMP governance of Jamaica, indicated that during the PMP's governance of Jamaica between 1970, not between, but 1970 to 2010, there were more murders during the PMP governance of Jamaica than the JLP governance of Jamaica. This is empirical. This is not a political matter. So don't accept it as such. Accept it as what the figures are saying. That was given to us by PIOJ, Statin, and Planning Institute of Jamaica. We spoke to you a while ago as well about the number of murders and how the number of murders, if you look carefully at what has been going on, in each decade from the 1970s, you realize that murders are sometimes increasing close to double, 266, almost 500, almost 500 to 762, almost 800 to 1344. That is actually telling you the rate of change in murder in Jamaica for each decade. We are murdering each other at an alarming rate. Now, it has been given to you, and we are saying, ladies and gentlemen, we are presenting statistical information to you. We're analyzing this information within mathematics and not because of a political position. So you see there in terms of what is happening there that I presented you with a table displaying the number of murders, the number of years, mean number of murders, standard deviation, standard error, which means I'm doing calculations based on a mathematical perspective and not based on any form of opinions or any other thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are saying we are looking at periods in which the PMP is governing Jamaica and the GLP is governing Jamaica, and we are seeing what is going on, and we are also presenting you with during particular periods during the 1970s, and we show you what happens in terms of the number of murders committed during the PMP time, during the GLP time. We are breaking that down for you to sort of appreciate what is happening. During the PMP's period, you see what happens. During the GLP period, with the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, and 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, we are presenting you with facts. These are evidence, empirical evidence as to what is going on in this beautiful country of ours. We are showing you what happens in terms of looking at the periods in terms of when the PMP is in power and when the JLP is in power during that period. And that will tell you, listen, we need to address an issue during the PMP governance of Jamaica. Murder and politics in Jamaica. Now, whereas some persons may want to believe that I have an interest, a vested interest to look at murders and in Jamaica from the perspective of who's governing the society, and that I may have an ulterior motive, and I'm saying absolutely not. For you to understand clearly, I am a statistician and a epidemiologist, and therefore I need to look at what is to try to explain and understand and make policies and forecasts so we can actually address this matter. What is a fact in Jamaica is that during the PMP's governance of Jamaica, on average, there are more murders in Jamaica than during the JLP governance of Jamaica. And that was from 1970 to 2010. What do we have to say? What is happening in Jamaica during the PMP governance of the society that's actually seeing substantially more murders on average than during the JLP governance of the society? What is happening? What are policies and programs instituted both from a local level, a community level. What is the environment like that will sustain and foster more murders when the PNP is in power compared to the JLP in power? That is something we need to solve in Jamaica, need to address. What we don't know is that whether these murders are fueled by the opposition to create the scenario, or it is a policies and programs of the administration that is actually accounting for what is happening. That is something we need to actually study from an empirical perspective. What we do know from the data given and presented and published by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force is that on average, when we do the computation, more murders are committed when the PNP is in power than when the GLP is in power. And the information that we use is from 1970 to 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your views? Let me hear what you have to say about this matter. We are presenting you with empirical information for you to use to make a decision. The numbers are telling. Let me hear what you have to say. No emotions. Let's use the numbers.